Despite what you may think, even kings and queens need to eat. Here are some of the favorite foods of British monarchs throughout history, showing us just how much Britain's royal tastes have changed over the centuries. The first one on the list is King Henry VIII, one of the most notorious monarchs in British history, and quite possibly the hungriest. Henry didn't just crave power, he craved meat. His royal banquets were the stuff of legend, tables collapsing under the weight of roasted swan, wild boar, venison, and even peacock still dressed in its feathers for dramatic effect. But his personal favorite was lamb stew with rosemary, washed down with jugs of ale and followed by rich, spiced puddings. At Hampton Court Palace, over 200 kitchen staff worked day and night to satisfy his royal appetite. Imagine the smell. Smoke from roasting pits, sizzling fat dripping into open fires, the clatter of copper pans echoing through the palace halls. Henry saw food as power. The bigger the feast, the greater the king. And perhaps that is why, when you picture a medieval royal feast, you are really picturing Henry VIII. If gluttony were a sport, he would not just play, he would reign undefeated. Next up is Queen Elizabeth I, famously known as the Virgin Queen. And yet, her dining habits were far from modest. She adored roast venison, marchpane, now called marzipan, and candied fruits. But her one true weakness? Sugar. Mountains of it. In her era, sugar was a luxury only the richest could afford, so Elizabeth used it to sweeten everything, from meats to medicines. It is said that her teeth turned black from overindulgence, but she wore it as a badge of status, because back then, black teeth meant wealth. Her banquets were legendary theater, edible sugar castles, golden goblets, and elaborate dishes shaped like animals, ships, and even mythical beasts. Yet despite the extravagance, Elizabeth herself preferred simpler portions, always tasting everything but rarely finishing her plate. She ruled her court and her kitchen with precision. The Queen's table was not just a meal, it was a message. England is powerful, cultured, and sweet. On top. The next royal on our list, King Charles I, may have lost his crown and his head, but not his appetite for elegance. Charles had refined culinary tastes. He loved asparagus, eggs, and delicate roasts of mutton and beef. He is often credited with popularizing the English Sunday roast, which became a hallmark of British dining thanks to his court. Even during times of political chaos, Charles demanded order at his table. Meals were served on silver platters, paired with French wines, and presented with near military discipline. His cooks imported recipes from France and Italy, a symbol of sophistication in an England still finding its identity. On the morning of his execution, he refused to abandon his rituals: bread, wine, and a small serving of his favorite mutton. It was not just a meal, it was his final act of control. In life and in death, Charles ate like a man who believed in grace to the very end. A tragic figure, dining with dignity as history closed the curtain. Moving into the industrial age, we meet Queen Victoria, the woman who not only reshaped an empire, but also changed how Britain ate. Victoria's table reflected both her humility and her power. She loved roast beef with Yorkshire pudding, venison pie, and boiled fish with white sauce, hearty, dependable British fare. Yet her mornings began with something far simpler: a poached egg on toast and a cup of tea. But her favorite treat? Raspberry jam sandwiches shared during afternoon tea with her beloved Prince Albert. Together they helped make afternoon tea a national tradition, bridging class divides across the kingdom. Her chef, Charles Francatelli, introduced French refinement to her meals. But Victoria never forgot her roots. She once told her attendants, Give me good plain food, and I'll be happy. She may have worn the crown of an empire, but she dined like a woman of England. Her table was warm, familiar, and revolutionary, just like the era that bears her name. Now, King Edward VII, Victoria's son, a man who turned dining into an Olympic event. They called him Gourmand King, and for good reason. Edward loved oysters, pheasant pies, roast duck, and chicken curry, a dish he helped popularize among Britain's elite after visiting India. His dinners weren't meals, they were marathons. 12 courses, each paired with a different wine or champagne. He once joked that a day without a feast was a day wasted. Edward's appetite wasn't just for food, it was for life itself. He entertained guests with laughter, cigars, and dessert tables that could rival Parisian patisseries. His obsession with crème brûlée was so well known that French chefs considered it the royal flame. While his mother represented restraint, Edward represented indulgence, the transition from Victorian duty to Edwardian pleasure. If Henry VIII ate like a conqueror, Edward ate like a king who'd already won the war. Every meal was a celebration, and every bite a royal affair. Next on the throne, and our list, is King George V, the monarch who simplified royal dining after decades of extravagance. He was not a man of indulgence, he was a man of habit. Every day started with 2 eggs, toast, and a pot of tea, precisely at 8 o'clock. He loved grilled fish, boiled mutton, and bread pudding, plain, traditional, and unmistakably British. His favorite treat was kippers with butter, which reminded him of his days serving in the Royal Navy. Unlike Edward VII, George V did not host feasts for spectacle. He preferred quiet meals with close family. He often told his staff, "Plain food, well cooked, that's all I want." But don't mistake simplicity for dullness. George's commitment to modesty during an era of war and social change made him deeply respected. His dining table symbolized stability. No fireworks, no frills, just the comfort of a well-cooked meal in uncertain times. And finally, King Edward VIII, the monarch who gave up the crown for love, and in doing so, changed the monarchy forever. Next on the list is King George VI, the reluctant king who became a symbol of courage and calm during Britain's darkest days. While his speeches inspired a nation, his meals reflected humility. George VI wasn't one for luxury. He preferred fish cakes, bubble and squeak, and a Sunday roast chicken, just like any other British family. Even during World War II rationing, he refused special treatment. While the royal kitchens could have sourced extra butter or sugar, the king insisted on following the same restrictions as his people. His chefs were ordered to make do, turning humble ingredients into heartfelt meals. His one indulgence? Chocolate sponge pudding, especially when made by the royal pastry chef. He'd often request it after long wartime meetings, saying it tasted like home. Even after victory, George VI never returned to extravagance. Simplicity became his signature. His table, like his reign, wasn't about grandeur. It was about heart. He proved that a true king doesn't need feasts to feel royal, just the right pudding at the end of a long day. Now we move to Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, and perhaps its most disciplined diner. Her daily routine was precise, almost military. Cornflakes or Special K for breakfast, served in Tupperware to keep them fresh. Before lunch, she drank a gin and Dubonnet cocktail, always with lemon, 2 cubes of ice, and no more. Her meals were light, simple, and unfailingly British. She loved Dover sole, venison from Balmoral, and chocolate biscuit cake, her all-time favorite dessert. Her chef said the Queen never traveled without it. A slice was even flown ahead of her when she visited other countries. And every afternoon, without fail, she had jam sandwiches, just like the ones she enjoyed as a child with her nanny. She avoided garlic entirely, out of royal protocol, and kept her portions modest. Yet within that simplicity lay refinement. The Queen's diet mirrored her reign, disciplined, traditional, and quietly powerful. No theatrics, no excess. Just timeless elegance, served daily at 4 o'clock sharp. And finally, we arrive at King Charles III, the modern monarch redefining what royal dining looks like in the 21st century. Long before sustainability became fashionable, Charles was preaching it and living it. Every ingredient on his plate has a story, often grown organically on his own estate at Highgrove. His favorite meals include mushroom risotto, lamb with mint sauce, and plum pudding at Christmas, a nod to his love of tradition. But his eating habits are surprisingly disciplined. He avoids meat and dairy before dinner, following a semi-vegetarian routine that keeps him sharp and balanced. He is known to enjoy honey from his own hives, cheese and biscuits, and the occasional glass of Laphroaig whiskey, his personal favorite. Charles's approach to food reflects his vision for the monarchy itself: thoughtful, sustainable, and deeply connected to the land. No lavish banquets, no excessive menus, just honest British food, responsibly made. If Henry VIII's. Now we move to Queen Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, and perhaps its most disciplined diner. Her daily routine was precise, almost military. Cornflakes or Special K for breakfast, served in Tupperware to keep them fresh. Before lunch, a gin and Dubonnet cocktail, always with lemon, 2 cubes of ice, and no more. Her meals were light, simple, and unfailingly British. She loved Dover sole, venison from Balmoral, and chocolate biscuit cake, her all-time favorite dessert. Her chef once said that the Queen never traveled without it. A slice was even flown ahead of her when she visited other countries. And every afternoon, without fail, she had jam sandwiches, just like the ones she enjoyed as a child with her nanny. She avoided garlic entirely, royal protocol, and kept her portions modest. Yet within that simplicity lay refinement. The Queen's diet mirrored her reign, disciplined, traditional, and quietly powerful. No theatrics, no excess, just timeless elegance served daily at 4 o'clock sharp. And finally, we arrive at King Charles III, the modern monarch redefining what royal dining looks like in the 21st century. Long before sustainability became fashionable, Charles was preaching it and living it. Every ingredient on his plate has a story, often grown organically on his own estate at Highgrove. His favorite meals include mushroom risotto, lamb with mint sauce, and plum pudding at Christmas, a nod to his love of tradition. But his eating habits are surprisingly disciplined. He avoids meat and dairy before dinner, following a semi-vegetarian routine that keeps him sharp and balanced. He is known to enjoy honey from his own hives, cheese and biscuits, and the occasional glass of Laphroaig whiskey, his personal favorite. Charles's approach to food reflects his vision for the monarchy itself: thoughtful, sustainable, and deeply connected to the land. No lavish banquets, no excessive menus, just honest British food, responsibly made. If Henry VIII's meals defined,